All right, everybody, strap in and get comfy. This is going to be a long one and definitely is going to be an unscripted one. This was at first going to be for the first 50 episodes of the Unova series, but now it has escalated to the entire Unova series because, well, I wrote more before I could record this video. So, we have a bit of a long video ahead of us. So let's get to it. Also, if I cut to Minecraft, I have a cape. Sorry, that surprised me. If I cut to just like if I will probably need to take a talking break at some point in this video. So, should I be recording this on a work day? Probably not. Let's do this. So, we start with the three main characters, Kylie, Nick, and Void, arriving in the Unova region. They decided to go to the Unova region after they first saw a Zorua in Kanto that was being studied by Professor Juniper, who agreed to take them to the Unova region. Uh, Once they arrive in, I have all my notes here, hang on. In November Town, they meet Iris, who is an aspiring dragon master. She is also going to be a main character in the series, and basically kind of just accompanies the characters every now and then. All right, next things next. Their teams, as of going to Unova, are Pikachu, Lucario for Nick. For Void, it's Charizard and Gliscor, which is actually shiny. And then for Kylie, it's Venusaur and Alolan Raichu. Not regular Raichu, Alolan Raichu. Uh, the way I make the Gen 5 moveset for that work is I just add Psychic to whatever normal Raichu can learn. And then it just has Psychic. And the reason she has an Alolan one is because, well, she got it in the Alola series and she just still uses it. And you know what? You can't blame her. Alright, next. Uh, Upon reaching Accumula Town, they see Getsis giving his little speech about liberating Pokemon and stuff. Not only that, but Nick and Void will also meet N, a character who is going to be quite interesting in this series. Uh, Nick will end up battling N as they do in the games, and N will end up losing. He has a very different team, but I'll get into that in another video. Yeah, N has a very different team here. Mostly made up of friendship evolutions and other cute Pokemon that come from the areas of interest that he has. A good example of which being Chargestone Cave, where he gets a Joltik that he evolves into a Galvantula. It's very, it's a thing that I just like to do to just give characters like a thematic type of thing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Next. Uh, N hears about this battle and realizes N might not continue going along the path that he wants him to for his plan, which results in Getsis telling Team Plasma to target Nick and steal one of his Pokemon. And they end up stealing his prized ace Lucario. This is episode 3, by the way, and we've already escalated to a Pokemon getting stolen by the evil team. Quite a way to start this. All right. Next, after a little bit of dealing with it, Bianca appears to try to help, and in this, Bianca is Professor Juniper's assistant, like she is in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. I decided to go with this because I thought it would just be fun to kind of mix and match things, which I do a lot. I mix and match a lot of things. I decided to add in the fact that she is Professor Juniper's assistant. I thought that would just be kind of fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of her. So yeah, Bianca's Professor Juniper's assistant in this, and she ends up to try to cheer up Nick a little bit. She gives Nick a starter, along with gives Void a starter. Nick ends up getting Oshawott, and Void ends up getting Tepig, which, all right, they get added to the team now. I want to go over their teams in a separate video so that way you guys know for the upcoming video where we play through with our teams that you guys just know what the teams are. So, what's next? Oh yeah, Nick doesn't like Oshawott too much at first because he's like it's trying to replace Lucario, but after a bit he realizes that's just his own feelings talking, and he decides to give Oshawott a shot. Next, well, what happens next? We meet the Striton gym leaders, who are the Silent Chili Crest. We meet them, and we learn that they're actually not taken seriously by the other gym leaders, and as a matter of fact, are also just not very strong in general. Sad for them, but good for the characters because they can have an easy first gym. All right. Void, Kylie, and Iris end up battling the Striton gym leaders all at the same time in a triple battle. Meanwhile, Nick doesn't even fight the gym. Why doesn't he fight the gym? Well, it's because he doesn't have Lucario, and that's kind of his focus. He wants to get Lucario back before doing anything else. All right, let's see. All right. Meanwhile, Nick battles Team Plasma in a dream yard with Bianca, where Bianca actually ends up catching a Masharna, a giant Masharna, that acts as the like one of the first boss Pokemon we see. Um, Void, Kylie, and Iris all end up getting their first badge, and then Kylie and Iris split up from Nick and Void. They continue forward trying to get to Nakreen City, and upon reaching the city, or before reaching the city, sorry, we got more stuff to go through. Uh, they end up going to a school area where we meet Charon, who is apparently a gym leader. Because he's the gym leader in Black 2 and White 2 rather than a rival, and I just thought that would be more fun. Uh, alright. What else? Skipping ahead through a few boring episodes, they go to the Nakreen gym. And once at the gym, they end up seeing a bunch of Team Plasma grunts stealing from the gym because it's also a museum. With the grunts stealing from it, they end up stealing a white rock and end up actually getting away with it. However, we don't know what that white rock is. After this, Void ends up battling the gym, and Nick, after the battle, goes and finds the Aura Master, who basically tries to help him learn how to use his aura power so that he can find Lucario more easily. Ugh. Yeah, this is definitely an unscripted video, by the way. I just have a giant notepad with me, and I am looking at that. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So Nick ends up finding a Pokemon that cannot currently be returned to its trainer, a Gothita. The reason it can't be returned to its trainer is because Gothita's trainer lives in Opelucid City at the university there. So Nick decides to take it with him so that he can return it to Opelucid City eventually. Then he goes off to the Aura Master. Uh, let's see. He ends up training with her and learns how, sort of, to use his aura power. It really wasn't actually that helpful. The Aura Master didn't really do a lot to help. She kind of just trained him and then was like, right, you're good. Let's go. I am leaving now. Bye. So, yeah, overall, not too helpful, but he taught himself how to at least train to use it. Next, while continuing to travel through Pinwheel Forest, Nick and Void come upon a new group of villains called the Central Swordsmen. These guys are jerks who want to harm the Swords of Justice. Now, the Swords of Justice are Virizion, Cobalion, those guys. So Nick and Void, they stop this guy, and also all the Central Swordsmen. Fun fact: they're all named after Heroes of Olympus characters. This guy's name is Jason. Uh, and he tries to go after Virizion. Next. Oh yeah, and not only that, after saving Virizion, Void ends up catching a Venipede that he adds to the team, ending out Chapter 1. Because I forgot to mention this as well, the Unova story is broken up into chapters because I thought that would help the flow of the story work a lot better, which looking back, it so did. Oh man. All right, next. All right, chapter 2 gets us his plan. I start this chapter off in a bit of an interesting way. I started off with a recap episode, where while recapping everything, Nick and Void are kind of just crossing over Skyover Bridge. Do I regret this? Absolutely not. Oh my god, this was so necessary. It was so necessary to do that because the next few chapters get a little intense, so I'm glad I had like a break, just a little break episode to throw in there because it was definitely necessary. Oh my god. During this episode, we meet Golett, a Pokemon that challenges Void to a battle and doesn't end up winning, but still does pretty well. Void acknowledges it for its strength, and then the two of them kind of just separate for a little bit. Nick and Void meet back up with Kylie and Iris while in Castelia City. Nice little meetup time, and we learned that Kylie and Iris have actually defeated the Castelia Gym. So now it's Void's turn, basically. However, they decide to go to a concert being run by Roxy first. Roxy being the what's the Burbank gym leader. Now, Roxy's apparently on tour right now, meaning she's not able to run her gym. And not only that, no one's actually even able to get to her gym either. Apparently, the harbor has been closed due to Team Plasma. Thanks, Team Plasma. That's just great of you. Uh, Together, they help save Meloetta from a bunch of criminals who are trying to steal it. All right. Uh, I need to find the next plot point. Oh my god. It's hard to do this while playing Minecraft. We meet Burr and Void battles him, getting his third gym badge. Um, we also meet Hilda, and together with Nick and Roxy, Hilda ends up saving her ace Pokemon, a Pignite, from the clutches of Team Plasma. Next, Void finally adds Golett to his team, and Void, Nick, Kylie, and Iris all start heading towards Nimbasa City through the desert. Oh, man. Next up, in the desert, apparently Team Plasma is hatching a big plan. So the group tries to go and figure out what this plan is and stop them. Now, upon reaching the desert resort, they've learned that Team Plasma wants something from within Relic Castle. And Nick accidentally falls into Relic Castle from above and ends up finding a black rock, kind of similar to the one that Team Plasma stole in Nacrene City. He takes it with him and decides that, hey, it might be useful, I guess. While in there, he goes to Relic Passage and ends up meeting Clay and Lacey. Lacey is Clay's daughter from the Indigo Disc DLC in Scarlet Violet. And I was like, I'll include this because it's actually really fun. And I really like the characters. Together, they end up calming down the Guardian of Relic Castle's artifact, Volcarona. And Volcarona ends up being added to Nick's team. All right, what else happens? What happens next? Uh, oh yeah, also during this, while Nick is handling that, Void ends up meeting Getsis and loses to him completely. Like that, it was almost as if he didn't stand a chance. Uh, oh my god, it's so hard to do this while playing Minecraft. uh, Void meets Elisa and Roxy. Then Void battles Elisa in a 4-on-4 double battle, actually, which it's. I want to talk about this real quick. It's so hard to write double battles. It's so hard to write double battles, dude. Anyway, with my little problems there out of the way, I don't know how I did that. That was insane. All right. Team Plasma hatches their most ambitious heist yet, stealing a bunch of Pokemon from a Pokemon Center and then taking them aboard the subway station and just transporting them out of Nimbasa City. Uh, we get the little like at the end of Black and White 1, we get that little scene where the gym leaders all come in and they're like, haha, Avengers Assemble, that thing. I was like, I'll do this now. But we don't get the same gym leaders. We get Drayden, we get Clay, we get Charon, we get Elisa, Roxy, and uh, Burr and Lenora. So not every gym leader in Unova, but a couple of them. A couple of them decide, because of Iris, to help out. And Iris here ends up evolving her Axew into a Fracture. All right, next up, Oh yeah, Nick learns that during all this debacle, Nick learns that N is the king of Team Plasma. Um, Sorry, I got distracted. After that, Nick and Void go onto the subway to try to stop Team Plasma. However, Team Plasma, like this has, I should talk about this. Team Plasma has not only got all seven sages aboard the subway, they also have all of their Pokemon have taken a Shadow Potion, which turns all of their Pokemon into Shadow Pokemon. Besides Getsis, who has not done this yet, keyword being yet, because he thinks he's strong enough already. After battling their way through the sevens, oh yeah, I should explain what the Shadow thing does. So basically, a Shadow Pokemon in this continuity is more powerful and more dangerous, and will also know a Shadow move, which will be super effective against all non-Shadow Pokemon. This is based off Coliseum and XD's Shadow Pokemon system. I put it in here because I was like, I didn't do a Coliseum or XD arc in Hoenn, and I want to do one now. And it just kind of fit Team Plasma to me, so I kind of just went with it. Now, Nick and Void continue to battle Team Plasma and end up getting their way to the final car, with only Pikachu, Charizard, Oshawott, and Tepig still standing. However, Getsis manages to defeat Pikachu and Charizard using Hydreigon. So, with no choice, they send in Oshawott and Tepig, who almost lose but end up evolving, saving the day. However, Team Plasma still manages to get away with all of the stolen Pokemon from the Pokemon Center. However, all of the seven sages besides Getsis are now incapacitated. I ended off with a nice little break episode, and we move on to Chapter 3. Now, at this point, two of their Pokemon have evolved, those being Venipede uh, and Gothita. I just kind of forgot to mention that. But we're also at the halfway point of this video. That was episode 50, the little break episode at the end of chapter 2. That was episode 50. So I'm gonna take a big drink of water right now because I've been talking for a minute. All right, let's keep going. So, uh, we meet another member of the Central Swordsman, Hazel, who uses Excadrill and has a strong interest in Terrakion. Now, Hazel um almost gets killed by Terrakion here, and she's stopped by Nick and Void. However, we see Nick turning a little bit more bitter at this point in the series. Next, we get to Driftvale City. You know, that place where it's all like that place. That place is cool. I like it. Anyway, upon reaching Driftvale City, Nick and Void realize something. Team Plasma is going hard. Team Plasma has started apparently utilizing not only shadow Pokemon, but modified snag machines from the Ore region. Ore is the Coliseum and XD region. I thought I would explain that. Uh, Now, realizing this, Nick and Void realize they have to battle against the Team Plasma grunts with now Pokemon that have been stolen from their trainers, and they're utilizing machines that not only give them full access to those Pokemon's moves, but also make their Pokemon even more powerful. Because these snag machines are pushing the Pokemon to their limits, making them even stronger than they already are. With the help of Clay, Nick and Void manage to defeat Team Plasma at their base, and then we learn that Team Plasma has set up more bases all around Eastern Unova. Alright, we caught up so far. I guess kind of cool. Now, what's next? Nick and Void destroy this base, and then Void battles Clay in a gym battle. Meanwhile, Nick talks to N's foster siblings, Anthea and Concordia, who are like the people in the games who have like the blonde and pink hair, and they appear in like just two scenes. Uh, yeah, they battle, or he doesn't battle them, but he does talk to them, who say that they think Getsis plans to summon Reshiram and Zekrom to help him. This is all about taking over Unova, we realize at this point. Also, Anthea and Concordia give Nick a Dino. Uh, they give Nick Dino, a Pokemon that is it's the pseudo legendary of the region. After that, Nick and Void decide to go to Chargestone Cave to try to intercept N. Upon doing this, they meet another one of the Central Swordsmen, Leo, who has his interest on Cobalion. Um, with this interest set, he kind of just he goes about his day trying to catch it, but Nick and Void end up stopping him. Yay! Good job, guys. After defeating Leo, Nick and Void continue forward and they intercept N in Chargestone Cave, but they also meet the Shadow Triad. With Hilda's help, they manage to defeat the Shadow Triad once and for all, apparently, and also end up not persuading N at all. They kind of just completely failed in what they were trying to do here. Next up, we meet Skyla, and Void ends up catching a Braviary with her help. Meanwhile, Nick is trying to find Team Plasma's base in Mistralton City. With Roxy's help, he learns that Mistralton City has their base underground. And this is when we kind of start to get the idea that Team Plasma's bases are kind of meant to negate the powers of the gym leaders of that city. In Driftvale, it was suspended over water, whereas in Mistralton, it's underground, which negates Skyla's flying types. Go this way. Oh yeah, Nick caught a rock and rolla in Chargestone Cave. What else? Nick and Void take on the Team Plasma base while Void takes on the gym. And Void ends up winning his sixth gym badge, while Nick ends up defeating another Team Plasma base. But he also learns that there's something else going on in Mistralton City. Something called Project G, which we learn later is Genesect. They calm Genesect down, and Nick entrusts Cedric Jupiter to take care of Genesect. We cool with this old man doing this? I guess so. Alright. Next up, what does happen next here? Nick and Void end up meeting a bunch of legendaries at this point in the story. Tornadus, Landorus, Thunderous, along with Victini. During the Tornadus and Thunderous time, we end up seeing Void's Golett evolve into Golurk. Cool, good job, Void, you're doing great. Nick also battles with Alder, the champion of the Unova region, who's trying to sort of like get him back to normal because he's kind of like rude right now. However, Nick doesn't really listen and ends up evolving his Gotharita into Gothitelle here. However, he still doesn't really want to just stop doing what he's doing. All right, next. We meet the Central Swordsman again, but this time they end up summoning and capturing all of the Swords of Justice, except for Keldeo. Keldeo comes in the next episode, and Nick and Void explain to it what happened. Keldeo agrees to travel with them, and then we keep on going to Icarus City. Once there, Nick and Void meet up with Kylie and Iris again. Void ends up taking on the gym, while Nick and Kylie end up taking on the Team Plasma base, which is filled with space heaters to stop Bryson's ice types. I couldn't think of much for that. Alright, after that, they go to Dragon Spiral Tower. Hi! He came out of nowhere. Anyway, after that, they go to Dragon Spiral Tower, which is a pretty big landmark in the Unova region, and is apparently the place where the legendary Pokemon can be summoned. Nick and N summon Reshiram and Zekrom using the two stones they found, N's being from the Nakreen Museum, Nick's being from the Desert Resort. Next up, let me see. Oh yeah. Zekrom gets taken by Team Plasma, and upon seeing this, Nick, filled with rage at this point, they stole his Lucario, they've now stolen the Legendary, and are about to just do whatever they want to the Unova region. Upon seeing this, Nick, filled with rage, tries to kill Colress. However, Void stops him, and this just makes Nick even more angry, resulting in him trying to fight Void in a 6v6. Void ultimately ends up winning, and the two of them, Nick kind of returns to his normal, like, sort of cheery self. Because he realized that what he was doing was kind of wrong. He was pushing away Void, which caused the rift between them. So he decides to make things better. He finally, like, goes back to trying to look on the bright side. He tries to be cheery again. And this ultimately ends up working. He's still serious about wanting to find Lucario, but He's a bit more cheery now. All right, next up, the group decide the group of Nick, Kylie, Iris, and Void all end up deciding that they want to go visit Drayden to consult him on what to do about the legendary Pokemon. And that rounds out chapter 3. All right. I gotta turn the page. Here we go. Chapter 4. The Last Stand. This is the last chapter we're going to be going over before I end the video. So, our big group finds the Central Swordsmen again, who still have the Swords of Justice. So, they fight them and save the Swords of Justice, with Keldeo also helping out and turning into its Resolute form. Next, the group finds Opelucid City under attack by Team Plasma using their Kyurem cannon. Team Plasma tries to steal the DNA splicers from Drayden, but Drayden doesn't just give it to him without a fight. Iris ends up getting the DNA splicers out of there and saves. Wait, okay, let me try that again. Iris ends up getting the DNA splicers out of there. Meanwhile, working together with Drayden, Nick ends up saving Driftvale City by Opelucid City by using the Kyurem cannon against Team Plasma and making it backfire. Oh god, I need more water. Actually, no, I don't. I feel like that's just gonna kill me. Okay. With Opelucid City saved, Nick ends up returning Gothita to its trainer who lives here. Or Gothita, now Gothitelle. Oh, shoot. Upon doing this, it leaves his party. Also, upon doing this, Nick decides to travel across Unova to try and save the whole region from Team Plasma. He wants to fully go serious on this. He ends up separating from Void and Iris and brings Kylie with him. Kylie is there by choice, by the way. I shouldn't have put it like that. Kylie comes with him, and then Void takes on Drayden, getting his final gym badge. As Void, I don't think I mentioned this before, Void took on Bryson in Icarus City. Next up, what happens next? I think I skip ahead in the story a little bit. Trying to find it. Nick and Kylie head to Undella Town because that's where Nick thinks that Team Plasma is, based off of aura readings he got from Lucario. Now that he's reconnected to it. Because I should have mentioned this before, the rage he was feeling towards Team Plasma was kind of blocking his signal. Now that he's no longer full of rage and hatred, he can now actually fully connect to Lucario again. So, they go to Undella Town, where Nick and Kylie end up seeing someone familiar. Someone who, when you mention Undella Town, I feel like a lot of people also mention Cynthia. Nick walked into the wrong house in Undella Town. Anyway. Yeah. Cynthia explains that she's here because her Glaceon was stolen by Ghetsis and Team Plasma, who apparently jumped her while she was getting ice cream with it. Not only that, they used a special kind of Pokeball that allows them to steal Pokemon. All right. Next up, God, what happens next? Uh, we also learn that Team Plasma is working with an organization from the Ori region known as Cypher. They're the bad guys in Coliseum and XD. Now, they end up defeating Cypher in their Shadow Lugia, but Nick actually has to end up fighting Greevil while Cynthia holds off Shadow Lugia and defeats it, bringing it back to normal. Okay, almost done. We're almost done. Nick, Kylie, and Cynthia make their way to Humalau City, where they end up meeting Cade. Cade is a ex-Team Plasma grunt who I actually brought up in a community tab post recently. And Cade ends up helping Nick, Kylie, and Cynthia finally defeat Team Plasma. He brings them there as his prisoners, in quotes, and then they actually all team up and take down a lot of the grunts in there. Okay. Meanwhile, Nick fights N. Using only 2 of his Pokemon, he manages to take on 5 of N's, except the only one he doesn't fight is Reshiram, who Nick ends up not battling, and instead N realizes his deceit with Getsis, basically, and decides to work with Nick. Upon learning of this, though, Getsis basically just backstabs N immediately. A fight between Nick and Nick and Getsis's Kyurem. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Getsis has Kyurem along with Zekrom. However, without the DNA splicers, Nick isn't sure what Colress is actually doing in this point because Colress says he's trying to fuse the 3 Pokemon, but he knows that's impossible. This is when it's revealed that Colress actually isn't working with Getsis and is instead backstabbing him right now. However, it doesn't really go very far because while Kyurem isn't fused, it's still a legendary. Cynthia tries to fight it, but ends up losing because 4 times weakness to ice on her Garchomp. However, Nick and N work together using Zekrom and Reshiram and end up defeating Kyurem. Cynthia leaves the fight in Nick's hands, and Nick ends up fighting Getsis. Now, this is a 6v5 because Nick still doesn't have Lucario back, and also doesn't have Gothitelle anymore, so he only has 5 Pokemon here. So he actually ends up using a full restore on his Volcarona, which is his strongest Pokemon. This ends up really mattering later because it really Volcarona basically is the one to defeat Cynthia's Glaceon. Now, Cynthia thanks Nick for that, and then Nick and Pikachu work together to defeat Getsis's Shadow Hydreigon. Upon doing so, Team Plasma has been defeated. Now, after this, Cynthia reunites with Glaceon, Cade goes off to get the gym badges, and Nick ends up reuniting with Lucario after almost 100 episodes. And that is the first 100 episodes of the Unova series. Oh, that was a lot of talking. Holy crap, that was a lot of talking. A lot of stuff happens in Unova, dude. A lot of stuff happens. And this might surprise you guys, but the Unova series might be longer than the Sinnoh series, which kind of blows my mind. But yeah, what did you guys think of the story? Were there parts that I was just a little too, like, weird? Were there parts that just didn't make sense to you? Let me know. But now it's finally time for me to write the League arc, and I've been working on it already. I've been having a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy that when it's finished. However, I have to finish the rest of the series first, so it's gonna still be a while before you guys can read it, probably another year or two. But I hope you guys do enjoy it when it does fully come out. But yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share this video with everyone you know and love, and I will see you all next time. Bye!